Hey YouTube, it's Adrian. Just before we get you to this video, do me a favor and head over to PageantLaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and I would love for you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make a pageant industry that is safe, transparent, and fair. I know it's like that most of the time, but over the last year, it's become very evident that it's not like that all of the time. So head over to PageantLaunch.com, put in your email address, and let's get you to this. Hi everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, coming from a park in the middle of nowhere. I still have no internet. I have power, but special guest today is it's Natalie. Now you're going to have to help me out with your surname because I know it used to be Pike, and that's much easier to say, but it's not Pike anymore. So how do I pronounce your surname?
My surname now is Pawelek, and when I got engaged to my husband, my mother-in-law said to me, "Welcome to a life of spelling your surname," because nobody can say it or spell it.
Is it Polish?
Yeah, my husband's grandparents were Polish, yeah.
Right, because I have had I have a couple of Polish friends, and whenever I see the W in the middle of a name, I figure that it's Polish. So Pawelek, is it?
Pawelek, yes.
Pawelek, okay.
And I'm still not used to it.
You're still not used to it. And obviously we've got Lauren with us as usual. Lauren, how are you going?
I'm good. Excited to be back on. We didn't get last week, so it's nice to be back again. And not replaced.
We did have a running joke that we were going to run a poll with because last week Joanna Johnson was subbing in for Lauren, who was over in Thailand, and Joanna was getting pretty competitive about it. She was getting pretty excited. So, but I thought I'd never hear the end of it if I replaced you.
Yeah, I can't have my job.
And Danielle may be joining us. She's just left work. She's super busy. Her gym, Equinox, has just opened, so she left work. She might be with us in about 45 minutes or so, but we'll see. Now, Natalie, as I haven't actually talked to you much before, normally with the podcast guests, the ones we've had so far, I think I've talked to all of them or interviewed them. But the girls insisted that I have you on. So just for me and for anyone watching at home who's not familiar with your story, can you give us the brief background on your pageant history?
Yeah, so I was in the Mrs. Galaxy UK final this year, back in March, that Kaylee Atkinson won. Right. And I came first runner-up.
Oh, okay.
So I came second, and I got best in interview and best in evening gown. It was amazing, and I was so thrilled with it. And then, I just thought, no, I'm going to try again, and I'm going to work really hard. And so now I'm in the final again, which is in March. And I think someone posted the other day that it's like 13 weeks away or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's well, I know that I think it's the Ms. final is on Friday the 13th of March.
Yeah, that's the one. The Mrs. and the Ms. is on the same night.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm looking down at my calendar, and it's the 10th of December, which I cannot believe. So it is.
I know.
Almost to the day, 3 weeks to go. But just a random question for the both of you: is it just me, or can you guys not believe it is December 2019?
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's come around so quickly.
Then next year is 2020. It seems almost surreal. It's like something out of a sci-fi.
Yeah, it's mad. Sorry if you can see my hands moving and you wonder what I'm doing. My dog has decided to come and sit right at my feet, and she's licking me. So, Nala, come on here. Nala, can you come up? Nala, you come up here. Then if you can see her little, oh, there she is.
Oh,
little
God.
Head there.
Okay. That's
Not little.
Yeah, maybe not little. Yeah.
when you were asking her to come on up, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be a really small, like, handbag dog. Look down there, it's bigger than you. The head's bigger than your head.
I think she's probably about the same weight as me. She's a German Shepherd crossed with a Husky.
Oh,
yeah, she loves this time of year.
I've never seen a German Shepherd crossed with a Husky. We've had lots of German Shepherds over here. We have a couple of Huskies over here as well in Australia, but they do struggle with the heat. But I'm going to imagine in the UK, that's kind of the sort of temperature they love.
She loves it. She's just wanted to sit outside all day, and I've been calling her in, and she's just been looking at me like, no, I'm all right out here. And she's just lying out there. She loves it.
Yeah, she probably likes the cold. I'm just going to read out some of the Facebook comments when you guys up to date. So I asked, and I pinned to the top, let us know what you thought of Miss Universe. Miss Parkinson says she might have some controversial opinions. We'll see. Hannah Golding has said, the link actually sent me to a Miss Universe stream. I was so... I don't, maybe I tagged Miss Universe, or maybe Hannah's talking about something else. But she said, personally shocked GB didn't come top 20. However, such an amazing moment in history for South Africa. Joanna Johnson has said, haha, Lauren will like this. Haha, I was a great replacement, Lauren. I'm taking your place.
You bitch.
Oh, Joanna, have you found the video of Olivia? Maybe, Lauren, you can help us. Last week, Natalie, we had Olivia McPike on, and she outed herself as having this really embarrassing moment where she was singing Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and apparently it was live streamed, and she said it was the most embarrassing moment of her life. So, of course, we're now making it our mission in life. I was seriously considering, not a word of a joke, offering people like a monetary reward to find this video, because Olivia actually found it, so I know it exists, and I just want to share it on the Pageant Project Facebook page.
It's on Miss Grand International. I think the date was the 23rd of October 2018, so it'll be a live stream from that evening, because after preliminary party, and we had like a big buffet, all of our families were invited, so I think that's the night. I'll find it for you though, don't worry.
Well, Joanna has said, first off, she said, joking, haha, you can keep your job. So that's still Lauren. And then she's written in caps, no, I looked everywhere. So she said she's actually asked you if you had it. So you don't have it, but you think it's on the...
I don't have it, no. I was busy on stage singing with Olivia.
Oh, she said that you guys didn't get up to sing with her because, in her words, she said it died a death.
Oh, no, that could have been... No, we definitely got up and had a dance, because we'd had, I think, a glass of wine, so we were, like, loving life. Few of us did that, or we may be dancing by the stage.
Oh, dear me.
She's actually really good at singing. Her voice is really, really good.
Oh, is it? Because she said, seemed, the way she spoke, she said it didn't sound so good, but she got the words wrong.
She's really, really good at singing.
Oh, that's something to look forward to when at Galaxy UK then. Natalie, for yourself as well, I have seen, I've been dying to ask you this, I've seen photos of you in front of broadcasting mics and things like that. So I know you have a very unusual, I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people who have unusual occupations, but yours in particular. Can you tell us a bit about what you do when you're not pageanting?
Well, I have two jobs actually, so I'm really diverse. So I have like a normal full-time, like Monday to Friday job, 9 to 5, and I work for a charity in the UK called the Blue Cross, which is an animal charity, and it's like rehoming and veterinary and support and education. So it's just all animal stuff, and obviously I love animals, as you could see. Well, she's now lying next to me. But then I also have another job. So I work as a freelance sports presenter. So I essentially football. So I'm a football presenter in the UK. And I present for a club called Manchester City. We're currently the champions, although probably not by the end of this season because it's not going as well as it did last year. But I present for Manchester City. And then I also do presenting for BBC Radio Manchester. And I do, so the BBC in this country is like, it's huge. So it's like a huge, massive honour that I present on BBC Radio Manchester. And then I also do other things like on BBC 5 Live and other football presenting. So yeah, I'm a pageant queen and I'm a football presenter. So I probably think I'm in the world that it's both of those.
Probably. I've heard of a few unusual combinations, but that's certainly up there. How did you get involved with that? Because I think for a lot of people, actually, current Miss World Australia, Sarah Marshke, who's competing obviously as we speak, she does some sports broadcasting for rugby. And I know actually Gabriella
amazing.
Jukes, Gabby Jukes actually said that she is interested in pursuing sports broadcasting as well. How did you get into it? Because I imagine BBC in the UK, like if you're broadcasting for them, that's like pretty high up the tree, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean they called me in this year to ask if I went in for a meeting, and I was literally like shaking and nervous, and I tend to not really get nervous now because I've been presenting football for 9 years now. So
Wow.
it was literally, I used to model full time, and I modeled the Manchester City kit for them a few times, and literally it was like back when not many women were watching football or working in football. And I had a season ticket. I've had a season ticket in Manchester City for 21 years. And they were putting together this match day entertainment program. And I'd done some modeling. And they literally phoned me and said, "Are you interested in maybe working with us on presenting on match days?" And I was like, "Yeah, obviously, dream job." And I've been there 9 seasons now. And so the presenting, the sort of outside of that, the radio presenting has just kind of developed. And I was presenting on another Manchester channel for 3 years, and then that show ended at the end of last season. They didn't renew the show, and then I got picked up by the BBC. So yeah, I mean the BBC is like, I mean it's one of the highest honours you can get in presenting. So yeah.
And I mean, people will flame me alive for this, but I don't know anything about the UK really, and even less about UK football. But I'm assuming Manchester City is different to Man U. Like, if there's one team I know, it's Manchester U. Okay, but they're both from Manchester, to ask a stupid question?
Yes, they're both from Manchester. Manchester United were the biggest team in the world when I was growing up. They were the best and they won everything. And for the last sort of 9 years, 9, 10 maybe, City have been the biggest, best club. Although on Saturday we played each other and they beat us.
So how does one choose whether they're...
So
no, you're not, Lauren. Don't say that.
how do you choose between the two? And do people have massive arguments about it?
Manchester United.
Yeah. Generally, it runs in your family. For me, when we moved, I'm from Scotland, so I'm Scottish. We moved to Manchester when I was 10, and my mum's then boyfriend was a Manchester City fan, and it just kind of is like that. You do whatever your family does.
Your childhood.
Yeah, he forced it, and we were rubbish. We were like nearly in the 2nd division, and we were rubbish, so he really forced it on me.
Okay, so should I support Manchester City or Manchester United?
Whereabouts do you live in Australia?
Sydney.
Because we also have a club in Melbourne. Melbourne City is part of the group of clubs that we own. Obviously, I'm going to say City. We were the champions last year. United are rubbish at the minute. Like, they're not going to win anything, whereas we've got a chance of winning stuff. So, I'd say go with us.
Okay. Joanna said, I'm just going to stop saying Joanna Johnson because everyone knows who Joanna is. She said she's going to go look again now. She needs to find it. Yes. So Lauren said Lauren, what was the date on the Miss Grand International?
October.
All right. So Joanna, go dig it up and please share it. And Hannah Golding has said, "Ooh, rivals," chiming in as a Liverpool supporter.
Oh no, Hannah!
I don't know if this is a typo, but she's written "Nadu Liverpool Champions of Europe."
It's a song.
Oh, okay. And Ruth Fleming has said, "Hannah, have fun, banter lots with Nat."
Yeah, that's my friend Ruth. She's also a Liverpool fan.
Right. So just before we get onto the more general pageant stuff, Natalie, how did you, do you have any tips for someone who wants to get involved, I guess, in broadcasting in general, or maybe even TV, because they're closely aligned. So where do you start?
You've just got to get experience. So you've got to take any opportunity that comes your way to get experience in front of a camera or on radio. I'd also say you've got to decide what sort of presenting you want to do. So for me, it was always football. That was what was natural for me. You know, people watching, it could be anything. You know, it might be fashion, it might be beauty, it might be another type of sport. It could be anything. I think you need to find your kind of niche and you need to hone in on that. And then, yes, experience. The more experience you can get on camera, the better. Because you know, if you can get a show reel together to show people what you're like on camera, then that's the way to go.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that knowing the sport fairly well, at least, is pretty important to be able to commentate on a sport. Is that correct?
Definitely, and I'd say as a woman as well, you need to know the sport better than your male counterparts, because you need to be better than them. Yeah,
you need to be 11 out of 10 to compete at them when they're 9 out of 10, because people are going to judge you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Lauren, how big of a football fan are you? I mean, you've never mentioned football to me. So are you a closet football fan, or you're just like, no, this is...
I actually played football from the age of 12 to 16, then 18, no, maybe younger than that, 17 to 18 or 19.
Wow.
An under 21s ladies team, but unfortunately I got injured and I could not play anymore. So yeah, I was pretty good. I was a striker.
I bet you were ruthless.
Girls team, and in school I studied PE. I got an A in physical education in school, and instead of doing my PE classes with the girls like we were supposed to, I actually played football with the guys, and I was like a part of them in school, like running circles around them. I'm very sporty.
That's amazing, because when I was I'm probably like maybe 10 or more years older than you, and when I was in school, girls didn't play football at all.
I had to sign like a disclaimer to say that if I got injured, it's like my own fault. And my mum to okay me playing with the guys, because they were like, the guys are going to be like, they will go in on you, they will be rough. And I'm like, it's fine, I can take it.
I imagine you can take it.
Yeah. Football was one of my, I was really, really good at it, but because I danced as well, the injuries alongside of dancing just went down more. Ligament damage, pulled muscles, everything.
Oh.
I had no idea you were so sporty. I mean, you mentioned playing tennis, but I mean, I had no idea you...
Rugby, cricket, football, a lot of sports.
Do you play any sports now, Lauren? Like competitively? I mean, because if it was me, I'd miss it. Like if I used to be really competitive at it.
I really do. And they started up a women's football class here, but it seemed to be every single night it was on, I was always busy. I think it's like finding that balance of doing things and then having time to actually want to enjoy yourself whilst playing sports. So the gym was like my main thing for exercise, but I would prefer to be involved in like an active sport and playing football or actually doing something sporty instead of just going to the gym. Same old. It gets so boring.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing else.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. I mean, the gym is one thing, but playing, like I played tennis yesterday for about 2 hours in the Australian summer, and I love it. It's, for me, it's not going to the gym. I mean, I don't enjoy it as much, and I know some people are the opposite, and that more power to you. Some people are gym junkies. I would much rather be playing a competitive sport, because for me, it's like not that I have to exercise. I'm getting exercise whilst I'm doing something that I really enjoy.
It's if you're playing like a competitive sport like tennis, physically it is challenging, but also mentally tennis is very challenging, because like especially if you lose, like, oh my god, all the thought process that goes into it is hard.
I didn't lose, so I'm happy.
I used to be that person that if I lost in tennis, my racket would be thrown to the floor.
Yeah, I'm like that if I lose in anything, like a board game in the house.
Oh god, you guys are bad losers, eh? Did you ever break a racket, Lauren?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Because they're
not. I still have my from when I used to play. I think it's literally over there.
We'll have to ask Louise, who's probably watching. Louise, did she break any rackets?
Because they're not easy to break. I coached, Natalie. I coached tennis for about 10, 15 years. And, a lot of kids leave rackets. They lose everything. Like, a kid can turn up to tennis with only a tennis racket and they leave. And the one thing they have to take back, they've forgotten. So we'd have kind of a pile of tennis rackets that no one was ever going to claim. And a lot of them were dingy and dirty, so you couldn't give them to anyone. So I had this kid's racket, and I never throw my racket because I don't like having a temper tantrum on court.
I have tantrum all the time.
It's entertaining for the person on the other side going, oh, look at her, she's losing it. But I wanted to see if it's possible to break it. So I literally got this racket and I threw it as hard as I could. Like I was whacking it and throwing it on the ground again and again and again. And the thing wouldn't break. I mean, it bent a little bit, but it wouldn't break. So when I've seen people like tennis professionals smack the racket into the ground and snap it in half. You have to throw it really, really hard.
As a challenge.
No, because the other thing is, I think I've mentioned this in a previous podcast, that too, but they bounce. Because they're so strong, they bounce. So if you throw it headfirst into the ground and it bounces, very often the handle can come back up and smack you in the face. So not only have you had a temper, you look even more stupid because you just whacked yourself in the face.
We used to play this game as well when everyone if you lost that game and it was like a big group of us, we would hit the tennis ball, everyone would line up and we just like whack the losers with the ball.
I think we had that game here. I think it was called Horse. And if you lost, you had to kneel down, crouch down with your bum facing the other players, and they got to serve a ball at your backside. And understand that these are coming down at like 100 miles an hour. If they know how to serve, it would leave a sizable bruise. Mm-hmm. I never partook in those games because I thought this is stupid. Like why? But I don't know. I might partake in it now.
Newspaper articles from when I used to play tennis, and there's me with my headband like this.
When I come over to the UK, we should play because it's very the number of people. I don't know what it's like in the UK, but the number of people playing tennis has probably stayed about the same. I don't know, Natalie, if you know anything about this. The number of people has stayed the same, but because tennis is a very high skill cap. Like, you can't just play it for, let's say, a week and you know everything. I know most sports aren't like that. But tennis is one of those games you're always improving, and there's a very big difference between a recreational player and a pro player. Like, you just watch them. I say, like, you watch one shot, you can tell pretty much instantly how good that player is. But the number of people who are good at tennis in the younger ranks in Australia has really dropped because I think most people don't have the patience to take it because it's more of a longer tail sport. I don't know if it's the same with the UK. I don't know if it's the same with football.
I used to play 3 days a week.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes for private coaching as well. So I used to have our group coaching and our private coaching, plus dancing. I did not have a social life. And I was
going to your mum, probably, by the sounds of it.
Broke from paying for me. I even had a scholarship to go to private school because of my tennis and my athleticism, and I gave that all up. I was like, no, I just want to be normal and play with my friends and go out after school instead of going to tennis.
I mean, obviously you're super into pageantry now, but just to me, like as a tennis player, as a tennis nut, it doesn't seem to me like it would scratch the same athletic itch. It might scratch the same competitive itch. I mean, you must miss it.
No, because actually pageants gives me that drive and that competitiveness to keep going. I think I did dancing when I was 18 or 19, and I did competitive dancing from the age of 3 till 19. So that competitiveness, I lost that, and then at the age of 21, I started pageants, and it gave me all those emotions back and all that adrenaline, the rush you get before you step on the dance floor is exactly the same as when you step on the stage for a pageant. So I do exactly the same, okay, I'm ready.
I'm just going to bring you guys up to date with Facebook. Joe has said the Facebook page hasn't yet. The Facebook page, Miss Grant, hasn't got any videos on their Facebook from last year. So she's struggling to find that video of Olivia.
Let's forget about our year.
Hannah Golding has said support Liverpool. Okay. I'm open to suggestions. I have no allegiance. So if you can put forward a good argument, I would prefer to support a team that doesn't get me bashed when I get to the UK. So, because I've heard that that's a thing. So as long as I can support a team that's not going to get me confronted by people, that would be good. Charlotte Cassie Clemmy, who I interviewed just the other day, has said, "Hey, Nat and Lauren, I was honoured when Nat missed an important City game to shoot with me." Wow.
Yes.
Hannah has said, I'm thinking it might be like Miss Grand Thailand's page. Oh, someone needs to find this video of Olivia. Let's cut to the chase and send it to me, and I will give you a reward. Hannah,
anyone that finds the video.
Free what?
Free bottle of perfume for anyone that finds the video.
Oh, good one. Good perfume.
It's not that it have to be free. I'm happy to pay for it because I really want this video. Hannah has said Lauren, she used to play basketball with the boys instead of yoga, the girls. Oh, okay.
Nice.
Rebecca Jane Everson, hello. Hey, everyone. Miss you, Lauren. Lots. Nat, miss you, mega, but see you soon. Adrian, see you in March. Lauren's mum has said that Lauren was also the cricket captain in junior school.
Yeah.
I was vice captain.
I had a mean throw on me.
God, jeez. All right. I had no idea you were so sporty, and it's funny you mentioned throwing. I probably should get off this and talk about pageants. But one of the things in tennis, working with kids, and this is not just girls, the number of girls and boys who can't throw anymore is, I don't know why, it's like a really difficult motion to teach. A lot of them throw kind of like a push, like a shot put.
Anymore.
No.
In school, we used to have to do hand-eye coordination lessons. So you'd throw the ball up on the wall and catch it with the other hand, and vice versa, until I get really, really quick at it. That's how I kind of learned everything.
Fascinating. Now I really want to play tennis with you.
Hours and hours and hours of just throwing the ball up in the air and getting that swing.
Yeah.
That drained the life out of me. Just throwing. Just keep going.
I found that like my meditation. I've often said to people that I can't meditate. Like I sit there and just get really bored. But for me, playing a sport and practicing, it's like meditation. I can just zone out for hours. Yeah, Danielle. Oh, by the way, guys, Danielle. Yeah, as I mentioned, Danielle's running late, but Danielle said I'm on my way. Hannah has said any team will get you bashed. Thank you, Hannah. That really helps.
Probably,
I'm not going to support anyone. That's what I was worried about. Like in tennis, you don't get bashed for supporting anyone. Football, I'll
protect you. They won't mess with me.
Great, front line protect you.
Yeah.
I'm going to hide behind you. Am I? That'll feel really good for my manhood. Quick, hide behind Natalie, so that Danielle said she's just waiting for her bus. Danielle knows stress. Okay. Why don't we talk about Miss Universe, because it just happened, and then we should scoot on over to Miss World because it's still happening. I'm going to throw it over to Lauren and throw Lauren under the bus, speaking of buses, because Lauren said she had some controversial opinions. So I haven't, I'll preface this by saying I haven't been able to keep up with it much because I've had no internet at home. I did see a short video, as I mentioned, of a lot of girls falling, like properly falling on the stage.
It wasn't even like Luke, it was like...
Yeah.
It was very cringeworthy, and to see that sort of... Like, you'd think one girl, okay, that's just a mistake. But to have so many girls, like, how did that happen? And then I remember, I think someone passed on a message and said that Emma had said that someone's beads had fallen off her dress, and that was all on the stage.
No.
But I can't imagine that happening unless it was one of the Sherry Hill sponsored opening numbers, because it was swimsuit, and then I'm sure national costume the swimsuit. But
the stage was really shiny, wasn't it? Like that flooring.
Polished it too much, not enough grip on the bottom of the shoe. Like, if that was me, I would be absolutely devastated that you worked to that level to get to Miss Universe and slip on stage. And then why they even thought to bring someone on stage and start sleeping. I'm sorry, but you can stop just for 2 minutes. Give the girls their individual time to be on stage and don't distract the audience by just sleeping. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I guess that sweeping makes more sense if he was getting beads, because I didn't realise that. I thought, why is he polishing it more? Like, it's going to be slippier.
I do more damage than what it's worth. Like, just spread the polish around a little bit. Who else wants to fall? But then a lot of people had said that maybe it was the capes and they were getting, like, stuck under those and slipping. I mean, I
don't think so. I don't, because I saw some videos where you can tell, like, a girl stepped on a cape because she kind of jags, like she gets stuck. But there were other ones where it wasn't the cape because it was like banana peel.
Yeah. And France, oh my God, she was wiped out completely. Like, and then for me, like, France is beautiful. Loved her at Miss World. Miss Universe, not so much. And I saw, like, Miss Universe always says we want a spokesperson, we want a speaker. But then they take that spot away from someone. She had an interpreter. Like, I get it, but as a Miss Universe, you're expected to speak to everyone. Like, if you want a speaker, how can someone that's once slipped and has an interpreter get so far when there's other girls that probably deserve it a little bit more? But that's just my view.
Well,
I did wonder about the slipping, like, because I thought I was thinking if it was me and I slipped at Galaxy, which is obviously a bit different from Miss Universe, but it's my Miss Universe, and if I worked for a year and then I got there and then I slipped, would I want it to affect my scores or not?
She handled it afterwards. She ran off stage. She didn't get up and, like, just carry on. She was like, and then, like, ran off stage. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because I saw a couple, again, this was like a highlights video someone put together. I did see a couple of the girls fell over and then got up and made fun of themselves and were just like putting up their hands and basically, I think, assuring everyone that they were okay. So I thought they handled it really well, but I don't know which country was doing that. I think I saw at least two of the girls sort of get up very graciously and have a good laugh at themselves, which I'd like to think. I mean, I've judged a couple of pageants and I've always asked, well, what do I do if someone trips or falls over? And I get this kind of quizzical, like, not really a direct response. I say some will say, okay, it's how she recovers from that, and then others will say, well, no, you have to mark them down. So do you guys have any, like, which one is it? Do you think she should get marked down for falling over, or should it be more about how she dealt with it?
Marked down for the way that she handled it. I think if the stage was slippy, that isn't anything that can be helped. But what can be helped is your reaction and the way that you finish up. I wish she would have finished it up and just been like, okay, I'm just going to killer walk this off, like, carry on. But she didn't. She, like, her body language just went in. She forgot about her walk and was just like, and I'm like,
it's like, I'm going to go now.
Like, you're still in Miss Universe, though.
But she made top 10.
How? That's what I don't understand, is how can you make top 10 when you didn't handle it very well? Who knows? Who knows?
This is a rabbit hole you go down whenever you question results from pageants. I mean, we were talking about sports earlier. That's much easier because it's very objective. Like, if you score more goals or you win the game, you win. But in pageantry, it's always a bit harder to tell. Megan Goldberger has said she thinks South Africa was such a worthy winner. And she said the prelim stage was awful. Danielle has said slippy stage. And then Hannah has also said defo how they handle it. What was the stage smaller than usual? And then I saw videos where girls couldn't get through backstage because their costumes were, like, too tall and they were having to squat down to get their costume.
Someone that could jump off stage. Someone, I think it was Costa Rica, or was it a Latin American country, had this huge thing that took up the whole stage. And instead of like slightly moving to the side, she just stayed in center stage and took up the whole thing. So one of the African countries had to jump off stage and then come back on stage. And I was just like, what? You could at least have moved over. This is in prelims, by the way. It was in a hotel meeting, like conference room, like quite a large one for a conference room, not anything from the caliber of prelims the year before, the Impact Arena in Bangkok, which is huge and it's mega. That's where they have all their concerts. Like going from that to that is it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Yeah, it was disappointing for the world's like best or arguably second best, top two pageants in the world. It was disappointing.
Some would say it is top pageant of the world. I personally look at it as the best pageant in the world. It is that high standard that everyone works towards. Like girls, that is their goal in life, is to compete at Miss Universe, and to just see the lack of production in prelims. I mean, finals wasn't too bad. It was kind of just okay. Then they were walking, so like the stage was here, the audience was there. They walked across stage and posed. It didn't make sense. I wish they would have walked to the audience instead of walking. I don't know. That's just.
Well, was there any particular reason why the stage or the production values were not as good as last year?
I think the whole finals. They didn't really.
Yeah, they were. What were they there? 8 days or something?
I think it was like 10 or 11 days, and they only like announced where it was going to be held like a month before, or a couple of weeks, 3 weeks before, or something stupid like that. And usually, like, there's a clear idea of where it's going to be. Like when they went to Thailand, they had like temple visits. They had so much to do. And then it's just like they get there and it's like, oh, okay. And I think even one of the finalists posted, oh, we're finally allowed to leave the hotel and do some activities. And I was just like,
wow.
Yeah, it's mad when you compare it to Miss World. They've been in London for like 3 weeks already.
Well, I mean, Miss Universe, at least in Australia, is definitely the biggest one. I think Miss World is a solid second. But when if you go into the street and just ask an ordinary person, do you know about Miss Universe? They will mostly probably say yes. Miss World is kind of a bit hit and miss. And then if you ask anyone, like if I go into the street now and say, do you know what Miss Galaxy is? They'll be like, no idea. So I think I take your point definitely that I think if you're on the stage, the international stage at Universe, and you slip on someone's beads, or the stage was slippy because they polished it too much, I don't think I would be very happy. I mean, you could maybe even potentially sue someone for ruining maybe your chances. But with Miss World, have you guys been keeping up with what's going? Because there's so much going on, and Miss World started before Miss Universe, and it's still going now. Has anyone kept tabs on how their favourites are doing? I haven't seen.
I haven't hugely.
So today they just announced the head-to-head semi-finalists. So I think Philippines got through. I think Wales was top 40 in talent round.
I heard that, yeah.
And I think they just figured out their top 5 of talent. So that was announced today. I think it's just all rehearsals ready for the finals on the weekend. It's finals on Saturday.
Right. And Lauren, you're going to watch Miss World, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm going as well.
Yeah. We're all going.
We're all going.
I got invited to the after party as a Facebook event. I can't remember who was setting that up.
It was
Katrina.
Kat Simpson. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, that's cool to be invited to the after party. I know. So that's get just for the after party. Yeah. I would if I could. If I could just teleport, I would be there straight away. So I seen a bit from Gabby. I did see her mention the talent round part. I know the Australian girl, our Australian girl, Sarah. I don't know how well she's doing, but I messaged her and she said she's having the time of her life. And
That's all that's
honestly, to me, after sort of what I've heard about international pageants, and I haven't heard many positive stories, I have to say, but for me, just to hear at least that she's having the time of her life, that is reassuring. I don't know, Natalie, if you saw, or Lauren for that matter. I interviewed a couple of the girls who competed in Miss Europe Continental, where in Naples, in Italy, and one of the girls was physically assaulted. And there's a whole litany of, I call it allegations only because I wasn't there, but there are too many allegations for it to all be false. They fed the girls out of garbage bags, apparently, gave them stale bread. There were like 2 girls to a bed, or it was absolutely crazy. And they're looking to take legal action against that pageant. And I found out, I was reminded just this morning, actually, that I'd actually been approached by them to send an Australian girl over. I'd completely forgotten, but I was reminded today. So I'm very happy that I didn't send a girl over.
Is it Europe continent?
Continental.
Yeah, Miss Europe Continental.
Yeah, I'm friends. There's a girl that's in the finals of Galaxy that went, and I'm friends with her, and we're travelling to Miss World together on Saturday. So I'm going to find out all about it from her on Saturday. But it sounds horrendous. Yeah.
This is it. Yeah, when I interviewed them, it was a next level of, oh my god, okay, this is the bad side of pageantry. That's pretty much as bad as it could get. And then
So
after, sorry,
if you go into these pageants at large, you kind of really need to do your research. You can't just agree to something because someone approaches you on social media, or that's why I always think it's good compete in pageants that have a good reputation.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you on that one.
Stop throwing money at these pageants that just pop up out of nowhere because they're going to be no good. Go for
Definitely.
the good director, a good following, good social media, good comments. Read comments on everything. Read reviews.
Speak to people that have taken part. Ask people won't mind if you drop them a Facebook message and say, "How was it when you were in it?"
Yeah, you've really, really got to do research and make sure. We constantly see it in the UK. These directors are promising the whole world to these girls.
Yep.
And the directors folded and got bankrupt.
Yep.
Well, if you're charging £100 entrance fee to a pageant that is offering you a trip to Florida and there's 20 girls competing, they're not going to have the money to back you to go. You want to go for a pageant that maybe does have a £300 to £700 entrance fee, because you're going to, if you win, you're going to get the prizes because there's money invested into it through entrance fees. But that's me.
Yeah, it's a great tip. It's a really great tip for people that are starting out in pageantry. They might not know that. Someone sends them a message saying, "Do you want to represent your country in Naples?" You're going to be like, "Woo, yeah!" But you've got to look into it.
I got the email from them. As I said, I was just reminded about this today because of a random conversation I was having, and I scrolled up and realized that I'd sent a screenshot because she was asking me, "Have I heard about this pageant?" And then I had sent a screenshot of the email I had gotten from that same pageant saying, actually, that's funny. I've been approached by them to send Australian girls. And the issue was the email was quite, it was pretty professional. It was a little bit broken English because I think they were Italian. And they addressed me as saying, "Oh, we see that you run an agency," when I don't obviously run an agency. But when I clicked through on the links, it looked all very, very snazzy, very, very professional. And I think this is where a lot of the girls were taken in by the look of it. They were promised 5-star accommodation or 4-star accommodation. They had photos of a very, very glitzy stage, like kind of Miss Universe level of production value, massive stage, kind of like Miss Grand, the backdrop with a whole video wall. And then they get there, and it was nothing like that. And the research thing is huge. I just feel that the people hearing us saying that you need to research are probably the ones who already
Yeah.
What I'm, and
I'm
this is
across
why
they've researched.
this is one of the reasons I asked. I asked a bunch of questions on my Instagram story, and one of them was, and I'll ask you guys what you think. Do you feel that we need some sort of regulatory board for pageants, right? Some sort of standards board, and overwhelmingly, I might have it actually here, but I think it was like 80% probably said yes. Now, I don't know if it's possible to implement something like that. I don't even know necessarily if it's a good idea or the best way to do it. But what would you guys think about having some sort of regulatory board for pageants?
I've been saying this for years.
Hello.
Oh, Danielle's here.
That's an entrance.
I'm here.
I've literally been saying this for years. With every other industry, there is a board. And it has to be certified and checked over. There is nothing like that in pageantry. There's people getting away with all sorts, poaching girls in to come into their dodgy little pageant, whereas I think there should definitely be a kind of certification available, just like you do with restaurants. You know, you won't go to a restaurant without, or maybe you would go to a restaurant without a certification, but you really should check up on the kind of kind of like health and safety standards, really. And at the end of the day, it's your health and safety if you're going abroad. You know.
The thing is, because I asked the question because I thought it needed to be asked, and overwhelmingly people said yes. And I think they said yes because obviously we want the girls protected and the welfare of the girls comes first. I think that's common sense.
Yeah.
Whether it's common practice is a completely different issue. But the way I look at it is the difficulties of setting up such a board, particularly when, look, most of the negative experiences I've heard from the Aussie girls competing overseas, they haven't been in the UK, the US, or Australia. And if it's been a negative experience, it's been one of those ones where it was kind of unfortunate. Maybe there was favoritism, maybe they didn't get the photo shoot they were promised, but it's not on the level of girls being hit and abused. So, for example, if we set up a board, or if someone set up a board like that, it's like what I was saying about the girls who probably need to do the research aren't watching this. I feel the pageants who really would need to be vetted by a board like that and wouldn't pass probably wouldn't want nothing to do with a board because they know they would fail.
And that's your warning sign. If your pageant isn't a member of the board, why? And that's a question you could ask.
Yeah.
Now, I remember getting a message on Facebook, right? And this was just after I'd competed in Miss Grand. And I think it is the pageant that you're talking about, Europe Continental.
I'm going to look on mine.
And they wanted to tell me that Miss Grand was a minor pageant. And if I really, really wanted a career in pageantry and wanted money, I can join their pageant. Now, I'm just trying to find the message. That's why I'm looking down.
I remember you screenshotting that and sharing it.
And shared it on Facebook. And I was like,
you did.
Person. And I can't remember what it was. And I'm trying to look through my screenshots.
Like, that just is alarm bells and having to bash another pageant. Bashing another pageant is not going to make your pageant any bigger.
Yeah, but
do you know what? I don't know why I'm looking. I'm probably like 10 years too old for it.
I've got the messages.
Oh, you've got it?
Oh, I love it.
Miss Europe Continental.
Oh, shock horror.
Okay.
Shock.
So I put she was like, I'm really glad you answered. Listen, I've added you because after long research, we valued your profile as the right one to represent the beauty of your country in our beauty contest.
Nice bit of flattery there to get you in.
What country? Didn't even say what country you're from.
She doesn't even know where I'm from. But, maybe you could be in this one also. This is more important of Miss Grand Wales, for example, since it's on a European scale. It could be a step higher and it's in November, so you may have time to organise, but as you want, darling. And then she put, we are not in the same level of Miss Universe, obviously, but our winner from 2015, Indita Idrisi, after winning our contest, went to Miss Universe without doing any casting. Since ours is a very recognised...
No, she would have had to apply through her country's universe competition and win it.
I put, unless flights, entry, accommodation, and for the time away from my career is covered, with a question mark.
I love the sass. Gotta be done.
Price is not covered, but if you aspire to in being in Miss Universe, I repeat, you won't do this with national contests or any less contests of Europe. I'm sorry if you have so affirmed career that you want money covered for the time away from your career. Why do you aspire in being in Miss Universe?
Okay, so look, here's the thing for me. Like, Lauren, obviously you're a seasoned pageant competitor, and you've got a sensible head on your shoulders. And I think, you know, Danielle and Natalie, I would assume, I mean, you guys would fall in the same boat. If you get a message like that, I think alarm bells are going off in your head. So I'm not worried about you guys, because I don't think you'd be taken in by something like that. What I am genuinely worried about is, and put yourself in the position of, okay, let's say you're 18, 19, 20. You've got a budding modeling career, and it's just starting. And then you get a message out of the blue, someone from Italy claiming they're from a giant organization. They're going to have a giant pageant in Naples. You're going to get 5-star accommodation.
Yeah.
You're going to get this. They're modeling contracts. You get Dolce & Gabbana this. You get a shoot with that.
Oh my God.
Now that is the level of what they were promising these girls. So the girls I interviewed, Rowan and Atia, this was for both of them, it was their first pageant, and they're pretty adamant it will probably be their last as well, which I cannot blame them for. And like, see, to me, we can talk about research and we can talk about how we react to it until we're blue in the face. My real concern is these guys are going after vulnerable young women. And I say vulnerable because they're at a position where maybe they're still trying to establish their self-worth, and they really want to make it as a model or as an influencer, and the chance to go overseas when they've never been overseas and they feel like they've been handpicked, it's too big of a thing for them to look at it rationally and go, no, this doesn't sound great. So my question to each one of you is, what can we do about that outside of the name and shame? Because that can only happen afterwards, which is too late for me. What can we do in advance to make sure that doesn't happen?
You don't have to have a board to have a website to review, you know, like a trustthetrader.com type thing, and then establish a board. I'm sure there are many people in the UK that would help out with that.
I think the problem though with like a website like that though is that you are going to get somebody who didn't win going on and slating the pageant when actually it could have been a really great pageant.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like,
but at the end of the day, TripAdvisor is there for everyone.
Facebook, like, that's exactly why I put that on Facebook, is because I want girls to realise that messages like that are not legit in any sense. Like, and it's so frustrating that girls have actually been drawn in by this. I wish there was something they could type into Google, like rate this pageant. But then,
even if it's like pageant tips, because that is the #1 search thing of newbies in pageantry. Pageant tips. If you've never done a pageant before, we've all been there. Yep. We've all typed that into Google or onto YouTube, trying to find things that you can do to help you win. I think that needs to come up in the search engine. If you're going to have like a review, be like, oh, check out your pageant that you're entering. That needs to come up when you're typing in pageant tips.
But people like you, Adrian, talking about it is a really good thing, because hopefully if somebody's new to pageantry and they're trying to find a channel that's talking about pageants, they're going to come across you and people like you.
Well, if people share these sort of podcasts where we do talk about the negative sides and the positive sides and which pageants to avoid and which ones you really, really like, the more people that share it, the more people it's going to reach, the more it helps the pageant industry. And I think that is where, like, the support really needs to come in, and it really needs to be all over. The more people share it, the more attention it's going to bring to these sorts of...
Hint, nudge. All y'all that are watching this, share it now.
I think, look, without...
Click that share button. Is it down here? Is it down here? Is it over there? Is it over here? Click it. Share it.
Danielle has obviously been in sales
Promotion
mode at
over.
the gym. By now,
Mate, I smashed it today, so all good.
I do want to circle back and ask you how the gym opening went. Just before I do that, I appreciate Natalie saying what you did about, channels like me doing that. And certainly that's why I interviewed those girls, is because I thought it needed to be done, and I didn't honestly know anyone else who could do it. But to come back to the whole idea of a board, to me, setting up a board, especially one that would have international powers that have any significance whatsoever, other than basically doing what I'm doing, which is saying, "Hey, these girls had a bad experience, don't go." That's all I can do. The amount of money and time to put into something like that to make it effective, to me, is too long term. I think you're talking about years, and there are all sorts of difficulties in terms of legalities and who would you put on the board, etc., etc., etc. Which is why, to be honest, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you guys about it, this idea of having a website similar to a TripAdvisor where people can post reviews about the pageant. Now, I completely take Natalie's point about people who would have had basically slagging off a pageant for no
Sour
reason.
grapes.
The thing I have on that is, and this is where you guys can disagree with me, I'm fine with it. As a business owner myself, I've been in business for myself the better part of 20 years. If I was starting a pageant, or I had a pageant, and someone wanted to slag it off without basis, right? I would then go on to the review. First off, I'd be socially aware, know what people are saying about my pageant on social media, which not everyone does. But I would go under that review and post something constructive and professional back in return. And if my pageant has done its due diligence in terms of dealing with the delegates in a reasonable way, hopefully they would come to my defense. And I think most people are sensible enough to see when someone's just having a tanty and someone has real constructive criticism.
And
that's the way I'm leaning.
If it was to be like an anonymous review, of course, then you're going to get a lot of people wanting to do anonymous reviews. But if there was to actually create a profile, log in, they're not going to want to do it unless they've got big balls. They're not really going to do it.
I feel like the Pageant Planet has that on their website now.
Let's not
I don't know.
Planet.
I don't.
Oh, from this, I do not like the Pageant Planet, and I will.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I mean, I see the pageant. I've been approached by the Pageant Planner. I've been emailed by them to go on their website and advertise my business and
poaching you.
I don't think they understand what I do, and I don't expect them to. But what I'm doing is not what they're doing. The thing and correct me again if I'm wrong. Yes, the Pageant Planner would be a great place to start if they do it, because they're the biggest one in the world in terms of social following. I feel it's a bit too vanilla to want to do something like this. That's my issue with it. I think it would be more a case of everyone just saying everyone's pageant is fantastic. Which, look,
I agree.
I'm all for... You go, Natalie.
So I was just going to say, I can see on my phone that Hannah Golding's commented saying you've got to pay for Pageant Planet, pay loads for Pageant Planet. So,
you want to really support bullying and online trolling, then I don't. Unfortunately,
that
experience with
hit or miss.
Yeah, I would. Apparently, I should have been raped. I should have been this. There was
Did they ask permission to use your photo?
No. And then they decided to Photoshop that I had used the hashtag hit or miss on an old Instagram post.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's not cool.
A year later, they decided to post my fashion wear and the comments that even my sister got, because my sister's not married to a boyfriend and they have a kid. They were like, you are a disgrace and all this. And and they would not take it down. I was literally having like anxiety, panic attacks in my room. Everyone was sticking up for me.
It's a photo of you. They need your permission. I mean, especially the photographer. Did they ask the photographer? Because that's a professional shot that they used.
They said once it's on the internet, you can use it, basically, is what their argument was. Even after
is that true? Because they're getting monetary gain.
No. So they're such...
You're an attention seeker. You need to get a grip. If you're going to post a photo like that, expect to get hate. then they decided to go live about me on Facebook, and I was just like, okay, whatever. Every time I see a pageant girl wanting to team up with them or share their things, unfortunately, I have to unfollow because I just can't support that sort of stuff. What they did to me and how I felt in that moment was horrible. I wouldn't want anyone else to go. So for me,
Lauren.
take a step back.
Okay, well, that's next level. That is not the sort of stuff I like hearing. But again, this is the thing. I don't know how intuitive you guys feel you are. There was a reason that I didn't approach anyone about going to Miss Europe Continental. Like, I didn't seek out any girls. I just didn't feel right. There was something about it. I did my research, as you guys said, and it's small things. It's not really big things. I mean, if it obviously is a scam and you go, well, that's your decision. But it was little things. Like, the email was generic. It was copy-pasted because they called me an agency. I'm not an agency. You go onto their social media, 267,000 followers, and underneath most of the posts, one comment, no comments. And I'm like, okay. And then I go on their website, and the guy is talking about himself in the third person. And these little things, they add up, they add up, they add up. But just to circle back, so I would say that fairly definitively rules out the Pageant Planet. But the thing with the Pageant Planet as well is, and I don't know if anyone else views it this way, I keep telling people I'm not a fan of pageants per se. I'm a fan of the women in pageants. And a lot of people don't understand that. But to put it another way, to me, the biggest thing, the thing that has to come first, is always the welfare of the girls. What's best for the girls? It's not what's best for the pageant. It's not what's best for the director. It's not what's best for their social. Especially sponsors. Yeah, good point. You have to put the girls first. And I think, without too much exaggeration, something like Europe Continental only happens when it's not the girls' welfare that comes first. It's the patron, the director, they want to seem really big. It's the sponsors, they want to impress sponsors, or they have this giant ego that they feel needs stroking. And I think the Pageant Planet is really promoting pageantry. I'm promoting the women in pageantry. And there is a subtle difference, but it's become very important to me in the wake of what's happened at Europe Continental and in the wake of what something like Lauren says. Like, I mean, that stuff doesn't belong in civilized. Like, forget pageantry. No one has the right. The argument that it's on internet, it's fair game for everyone. That's legally not true. You can't just take something on the internet, post it up, and say, well, you posted it up on internet, so we get to use it, and then start. It boggles my mind.
Wait. Adrian, is there chickens in your background?
Chickens. Oh,
can anyone hear squeaking?
I'm in a park.
It's the park. In a park.
There are. Why don't we do a bit of a show and tell? Oh God! So this is
I can hear something.
This is the bush. We just call it the bush. There's only one bush in the whole of Australia. And the sounds you are hearing are birds. They're not chickens.
Is it a swing?
They're birds.
Oh.
I'm in a park, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you can see haze in the background, you can see how hazy it is. That's because of all the bushfires that we're having, and without a word of exaggeration, whilst I've been sitting back over there doing this podcast, there have been little bits of ash falling on me. That's how bad it is here, and it's. Someone posted up the other day that being in Sydney at the moment is like smoking 34 cigarettes in a day. So
my goodness.
We are absolutely on fire, and when you hear stories about people lighting fires deliberately under circumstances like this,
that's so frustrating.
It's similar to what I was just saying about pageantry. There are some people who are just bottom feeders, and I will do everything I can to weed them out. But I guess we could talk about this all day, but in terms of what to do with pageants like this, I think the idea of a review site is the most practical and probably the most effective way to do it. Yes, there need to be safeguards to prevent troll reviews. The question about whether you let them do anonymously or not. I mean, I would give someone like Rona or Tia, they've gone public. They would be happy to set up a profile and then do the review. I also know there's an issue with some girls not wanting to come forward and be fairly worried that legitimately
I
worry
think
for
there
their
should be an
safety.
anonymous box as well. Like,
That's
you
what I
want to
mean.
leave a review, but if you want to inbox the people privately, then it can just bring it to everyone's, the monitor's attention.
You should have a valid reason why you are leaving a negative. You need to back it up. You can't just make accusations without backing it up, really.
And just like a TripAdvisor, in the sense that you can upload photos. If you've had a great time, you can upload all your professional photos, you know, photos hanging out with the girls, all the good stuff as well. And if there's anything bad, then, you know, we kind of need to get the screenshots or evidence, or, you know, if you're not
mail them say something to you via social media. And when I had a little bit of trouble, like, my director at the time said, no, but you need evidence. You just can't come to me and say, this said, no, Lauren, I need evidence, because unfortunately I can't do anything without that evidence. And I think that is probably a valid point, is the evidence.
And then you'll probably get the good pageants in their post-pageant messages to their contestants saying, if you had a good time, or regardless of what you had, why don't you leave a review on this website?
Absolutely. I think
just like how they do in restaurants and hotels, they go, do you mind if you get 5 minutes, can you go on the old TripAdvisor and give us a glowing review? That'd be great.
And I do think, and this might be contrary to what some people believe, I do think in the entirety of it, like, humans are fairly sensible. So I think it will work itself out in terms of bad reviews or fake reviews or needlessly pointless reviews. I think people will generally be able to see through that. And obviously, you know, if something is hateful, then we can take it down, or whoever the site is can take it down. And to be clear, I don't want this to be anything to do with myself or the pageant project. I would want this to be completely separate. So that it's unbiased, and really maybe a review process. If someone wants to protest a review, then we can have a review process for the review to decide whether it's deleted or not, because I think that's part of something like a TripAdvisor. So basically, it'd be like a TripAdvisor for pageants.
Yeah. I think that's what's needed.
Definitely. Sounds good.
Just going back to the comments, Joanna has found the video of Olivia singing.
Guess what I found?
Joanna, send it
There's
to
a
me.
bottle of perfume for you, Joe.
She can buy it herself and gets it at cost.
I was going to say.
Get her own bowl.
Oh, I need to please send it to me.
Get the satisfaction. You get the satisfaction of dobbing Olivia in it. How did you find it? She's like a detective.
No, we are. That's why
I feel like it needs its own episode.
We are stalkers.
I feel bad in a way, but I don't. I probably should feel more remorseful, but I don't.
I've got plenty of videos of Olivia Wood when I'm videoing her.
In a cute Scottish accent.
Exactly. Anything in that accent sounds amazing.
It could be offensive.
It's like, you're such a bitch.
Yeah.
You're gonna that wasn't bad. How actually? So Lauren, I mean, Danielle last week had a go at her Scottish accent, and her Scottish accent was pretty good. How's your Scottish accent?
Mine not very good.
Do your pageant intro. Do a pageant intro in Scottish.
I can try and do Hayley Galloway's, because I spent obviously so much time with her at Galaxy.
Okay, introduce yourself.
Hayley Galloway, Miss Galaxy Scotland. That's about it.
I am actually Scottish, and I can't do a Scottish accent.
I was going to say you are Scot on for this one. You can't do a Scottish accent.
Yeah, I moved to Manchester when I was 10 and just got really, really English, and now I can't do one.
Can you understand the Scottish accent?
Oh yeah, the broad. I could translate for you.
I don't know what the different levels of or the different types of Scottish are. I've heard so many different accents. Almost every interview I've done from the UK, they have a different accent. I mean, the ones that come to mind, there's the ones like Imogen and Emma Collingridge have, in what I call, I don't mean offense by this, but it sounds like the very classy, posh accent. Danielle's accent's obviously different. Lauren's accent's different. Then you have Olivia. I'm just moving on because I'm not.
Wait, you need to describe in Danielle's accent.
Then there's Danielle.
Well, Danielle describes herself in her Instagram bio as Cockney, so I just assume that's Cockney accent.
No.
But I don't know if this is the thing. I'm missing social context, so I don't know if Cockney is considered classy or not. I mean,
Not really, to be fair.
no, okay, all right.
Natalie's face.
I was just trying to move on quickly so no one could take offense or people wouldn't notice. Then
Hey,
there's,
we have a charm. We have a charm.
I never said you didn't. Olivia's accent we've discussed at length. And then there is the Welsh accent, like Gabby Jukes' accent was quite difficult for me to understand, but that was different to Heather Hopkins' accent, who also has Welsh. So it's like, I'm fascinated by, when I'm looking at a map of the UK, because I'm doing that quite a lot, because I'm working out where am I going to stay when I come over for Galaxy UK. It's like, I wonder what the accent from there sounds like. It's like from Manchester, or Liverpool, or London.
You will have deals all over.
You need like a Newcastle, you need a Brummie,
you need a Scouser.
The Scouse. I don't know what a Scouse is.
Scouse. Oh my goodness.
What is
That's
Scouse?
someone from Liverpool.
Who's from Liverpool?
Beth, but she's like Merseyside, so she's not as Scouse as I'd say Liverpool is.
Okay. All right. And then Beth's accent and Joe's accent actually to some extent are different again.
Yeah.
So
it's only a few miles as well. It's crazy. You've only got to go a couple of miles down the road and you've got a different accent. Especially so, Natalie, in London. I can tell whereabouts, like northeast, southwest, someone is just from talking with them for a couple of moments. I just know where they're from. You can tell a South Londoner. Crazy. You can tell a West Londoner. I'm a little bit harder to get because some people think I'm Essex, but I'm kind of like on the border of London and Essex. Clarifying, I am London.
So Natalie, what is your accent? Just to clarify.
I'm just modelled up. Me, I was born in Scotland, moved to Manchester. Now I live in North Wales. I don't think I have. I think I'm kind of got not really got an accent.
It's like a soft Manchester.
Yeah.
Like I probably go more Manc when I'm in Manchester.
When she's you're there with Man City and you're like...
Yeah. Then I'm like, dead monk, yeah.
Natalie, here's a question for you. If you had someone like Olivia come on with her accent and she commented the football, do you think your audience would actually understand what she was talking about?
Yeah, I think if Olivia came on to Man City, the audience would love it.
They'd be listening close.
Yeah.
Would they be listening because I think it's funny, or why would they be listening?
I think they'd just be looking at us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was apart from that. Okay, that's fair enough.
Boggling at her.
Yeah.
Joe, if you're watching, send me the video. I need to see this video. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I need to see this video. And we should get around to Danielle. Danielle, just quickly tell us, there's a kookaburra in the background now. Danielle, the opening of the gym, how did it go? It sounds manic, but it sounds exciting.
Tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Yeah.
So what was today like?
This, I need to manic. Today was the last day to join before it comes in. So it's been a bit crazy. Yeah. And yeah, I toured probably about 12 people around the club, and the club is big. It's 5 floors. So one of my colleagues looked at me today and he was like, Dan, you've lost weight. I'm like, yeah, that's going up 5 lots of floors 11 times. That's what that does to you. I'm not even training yet because it's not even open.
Apple Watch or something on. I want to see how many steps.
Yeah.
I do have an Apple Watch, but I haven't been wearing it, and I tend to leave my phone in my office. But I'd love to know how many steps I've done. I'm going to start wearing it. I actually might charge it tonight just because I'm curious. But I keep saying to people, hey, if you're training legs on the 5th floor, there's no judgment if you want to use the lift, because you'll probably see me in there.
You probably should put the leg section on the lowest floor, if I'm honest.
Yeah, we've got a mixture of weights everywhere. So yeah, if they're training, we've also got a ton of treadmills up on the top floor as well. So
We were talking about training in the gym before you hopped on, and we were finding out just how sporty Lauren and Natalie were. I had no idea how sporty little Welshie is, but I've had days when my trainer smashed me at the gym, leg day, and literally, like, I would walk up one step at a time, and everyone would be agony. So if I had to get up and down to the 5th floor, I would be at the gym for probably an hour just getting up and down the steps.
Yep. And it's the 2 days after you've trained legs, then going up and down the stairs. That's the best one. When you've still got, if you haven't stretched properly out and you've still got all that lactic acid in there, you want to get the lift.
I legs, bums, and tums once in like a gym.
Legs, bums, and tums.
Yeah, and the next day I was in so much pain, I literally just couldn't walk. It's a good job I just sit behind a desk all day because I was like,
Yeah, and our classes are hardcore. We've got so many people going, like, I'm going to book in for 3 classes this day. I'm like, okay, honey, good luck with that after the first one, then power to your sister if you can do 2.
What sort of classes do you have?
There's a mixture. There's probably, I think we have over 100 classes. It's crazy, yeah. So we've got like kettlebell classes, we've got a class called Metcon 3, which is really great to kickstart your metabolism. So it's a combination of cardio and weights in there. You'll be slamming sandbags down. We've got some weights. What else? Tabata is quite a... Yep. Yeah, Tabata. It's 20 seconds hit, 10 seconds rest, repeated over and over again. It is a killer.
I do HIIT classes. I like a HIIT class.
Yeah, if you like to sweat, that's a really good one. Yeah, you might like
do some weights and then sit down and listen to music. For about
you can do a meditation class. Do a meditation or vinyasa yoga, where you hold the stretch a little bit longer.
Couldn't be bothered to train, but I needed to because I was about to go to like Miss Grand International. I used to go to the gym, do about 20 minutes because I just needed to do something. So 20 minutes of like running. And then I pretend my mum called me. I'm like, yeah, okay, then, all right, then I'll come now. I'm about the gym.
There's no shame. At least you made a gym. Do you know what I mean? The hardest part is getting the foot out the door to go there.
It's like to be gym shamed by the guys that are there. They're like, oh, what, you're leaving already? You've only just come in.
It's better than nothing.
Absolutely. That gym sounds amazing. I like looking at gyms and the different classes they offer because obviously, the weights in it, the equipment they have normally is pretty standard these days. You have the treadmill, you have the spin bikes, etc.
But the
classes can be a point of difference.
We've got literally the best of everything. We've even got anti-gravity running machines. It's, don't ask.
Explain?
We have, who is it that comes out to try that? Who's Indiana Jones?
Harrison Ford.
He trains in our club whenever he's in London. So he's like pretty good celeb. I'm probably out.
I think Ford is dead, isn't he?
No, he's not
No,
dead.
he's definitely still alive. Who are you thinking of?
Am I thinking of his character in Star Wars?
Yeah, he was in Star Wars. He was Han Solo.
Yeah, and I think he died in the last one. I'm getting confused.
Oh, no, yeah, but he's not. The actor is not dead. The movie wasn't real. Yes, he was impaled by his son, but he's still alive. The actor is still alive. He was actually in an interview, and he said, "Thank God they finally killed me off."
But I just had to because I didn't know who he was. I've never seen Star Wars.
Okay.
He's been in so many. He was Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
He was in Expendables as well.
Yeah, so many.
Okay,
now... who else do we have? We've got Liam Payne.
Well,
his new Calvin...
Yeah.
His new Calvin Klein campaign or whatever it is, it's just come out. It's on the side of the buses everywhere. It's like, we built that body.
That's amazing.
Obviously he built that body, but we did. Claimed it.
Joe... he's definitely not dead. I just Googled it.
Good. Joe is sending me the video via email. Thank you, Joe. And Hannah has said if you can do 3 classes in one day, you didn't work hard enough on the first one. Louise, Lauren's mum, was saying he was staying in Cork and was stood outside my shop. Okay. Jeez.
Who was in court?
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
Okay.
He gets around, man. He gets around.
My laptop has gone into battery saver mode because we've been on for a while. So I feel this is a good time to wrap up. So Natalie, what have you got going on? I like to wrap up with just letting everyone know what we're up to. So in between now and obviously Galaxy UK and then coming into 2020, what sort of exciting things do you have coming up, pageant or otherwise?
Yeah, I'm just in full sort of Galaxy prep mode. I'm just trying to work as hard as I can for Galaxy. I'm just really trying to give it everything I've got. So I'm just getting out there and doing appearances as much as I can. So I've got 2 appearances on Friday. I've taken a day's annual leave and some bag packing in the morning, and then I'm doing some wrapping of presents for a children's charity in the afternoon. And then obviously it's Miss World on Saturday.
That's right.
And the lovely Danielle is allowing me to get dressed in her house. Thank you very much.
In this very room.
Thank you so much. Yeah, because I'm just doing a day trip. So yeah, I'm just trying to do as many appearances as I can. But you know, I have a 2-year-old and I have 2 jobs, and I have a husband who came home from work. I don't know, you might have seen him in the background.
I saw him.
He came home from work. He's a doctor, God bless him. He's come home from work and he can't get in the kitchen properly to get himself a drink or any food. And I've not said hi to him.
Oh,
so
no.
he's through there. He's fine. He's fine.
Doctor, I'm in pain, so if he can help.
Oh, do you want a quick consultation? Shall I shout him?
I've numbness from this finger all the way down here.
Go and see a doctor, Lauren. For God's sakes.
I want to see.
Okay.
I can't be bothered. I work too much and I don't have time to go and see a doctor.
Natalie's husband just got home from work and you want to grab him in the middle of a podcast to have your pain diagnosed.
We'll just come in like and ask for a diagnosis.
Yeah.
I actually think there might be legal issues around doctors giving advice over the internet, I believe, in case they get it wrong. But Natalie, that sounds amazing. Sounds like it's going to be busy. And then what? It's just prep for Galaxy?
Prep, working hard, working hard. Doing as much as I possibly can. Like I say, in between having a 2-year-old, who, by the way, Adrian, his favourite thing in the whole world is Minions. So I've been looking at your T-shirt, and he would love you.
Where is it? Yeah. I sometimes get, when I'm out and about in public places like this, I'll have grown people like stare at me and look at me strangely, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? Then I realize, oh yeah, I'm wearing a Minions shirt. That probably.
we watched the Minions film. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes my face doesn't quite jive with a Minion, but anyway. Well, look, Natalie, thank you so much for being our guest as well.
Thank you for having me.
Taking the time out to do that. It's been an absolute pleasure. I still haven't decided what football team I'm going to support, but given that
West Ham.
Oh God!
I was told I'm going.
Introduce another one.
I was told I'm going to be bashed no matter what I support. So I think it's better if I just say I'm not supporting anyone, because I don't want to be bashed. At least in tennis, if I support someone, I don't get bashed.
If you support my team though, because I work there, then I can get you into a game when you come over. See?
Well, I used to be a Hammerette, and I can also get you in a game down in here, in London. So
this is just getting worse.
Just saying.
Now I'm going to get bashed for being offered things when I'm not a true supporter.
I can't offer you anything but a tennis game, so
I'll take the tennis game. I can deal with that. Although if you have some sort of tanty on the court, Lauren, maybe you'll end up bashing me. So I don't know if that's actually safe.
Tanty?
I don't have a temper anymore. Anger management got that out of me.
I don't know if I believe that at all. But quickly, before my laptop dies, Lauren, what have you got coming up between now and next week?
Packing, Miss World, work. I think that's it.
Okay. All right. I'm on 15%, and we're dwindling as we speak. Miss Latimer, what have you got coming up over the next week?
Miss World, standard Miss World. We're all going to Miss World. It's in London, so we're all going. Other than that,
And day after party. Yep.
And then there's an after party as well,
which I've been invited to. That's cool.
You've been invited. You're not even in the country.
I know. I sometimes don't know whether people actually realize that I'm not in the UK. Someone assumed that I was in the US the other day, and then I think a lot of people, because they just see me on so many of the UK pageant girls' pages, they just go, oh, he must be from the UK. But it's like, no, I'm not.
I think the weather in the background is a kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, the fact that everything's on fire is probably a giveaway that I'm not in cozy.
Covered in ash.
Yeah, it's my laptop's actually covered in ash as we speak. I've got a few interviews coming up, as is the usual. Let me just check very quickly. I have a few different ones. I have Kristen Routh, who's from America. I think she's Miss Intergalactic something or other. Can't quite remember, but that's on Friday. Then I have another American, Claney Buswell, who was Miss Regency for Washington, I believe. And then Nancy Hodgson, to bring it back to the UK, Miss Teen GB on the Monday. And then Jessica Barclay will be our guest on the podcast next week. And yeah, I'll stop there because I'm then going past that. All right. Okay. So, look, I'm going to wrap up before my laptop actually dies. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you to all three of you for jumping on the podcast and giving of your time. And yeah, stay tuned for what happens with this whole idea of a pageant review website, or if you have any ideas for it, let us know, because I think that's something that really can be enacted fairly quickly, and obviously it's something that's super needed, so that fewer bad things happen to our girls, and so they stay in pageantry longer. Because if you have that first experience and it's a shocking one, you're not going to stay in it, because that wouldn't be a sensible thing to do. So I think that's something that really needs to be addressed. But thanks everyone for watching, and we'll speak to you next time.
Hey guys, it's Adrian again. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com and join the launch team for our pageant review site. All you need to do is put in your email address. Thanks, and speak to you next time.